Hey, welcome to College Space Spade Podcast. If you've already heard or seen of us, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome in. We appreciate you joining from YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, however you found us. Get ready for some real talk, real life, and real faith. We hope you enjoy today's episode and we pray you can relate or get something out of it. But with that all being said, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Welcome in to College Spade. Welcome back. Like we said, if you're here, you've been with us. We appreciate you. If you're new here, welcome in. Let's get right into a great conversation today. Today is titled something a little bit differently, and it's going to touch us just probably in a deeper way as we got to take some time to really reflect on the past a little bit more and not just our childhood. So today's title will be "What Time Isn't? Oh, When Time Isn't Enough." So yeah, well, when y'all hear that title, like, what does that make y'all think about?
You going first, Mo?
Say the title again. I was trying to think as you were saying it because this is my first time hearing it. So go ahead.
I know it is. When time isn't enough, what does that make y'all think of?
Oh, easily my dad. Um, I feel like I ain't had enough time with him,
Mm,
and around his birthday actually is on the third, so September. So as I think about that, like dang, like he didn't get to see me get married. Obviously, look, I'm about to get emotional already. God, um, he didn't get to see me get married. Obviously the things I'm doing now, honestly, I'm doing it for him. So sometimes I feel like, dang, I wish I had more time with him. And then I think sometimes we take that for granted on a day-to-day basis. And, we wasn't, I think at that moment before he passed, we were just starting to get close again. So obviously you wish you had more time, but you didn't. So the first person I think about is my father, honestly. So thank Cam, I know that was a good question.
Yeah.
that wasn't even the
You go
first
ahead,
question.
E. You can go, E.
For me, first person I think about my grandma. But when he said when time isn't enough, it made me just thinking about like cherishing the moments that I did have with her. So that
Yeah.
was the most important thing for me. Like just cherishing the moments, just always remembering those. Just remembering her in those moments. Because the love she showed me, the love she gave me, I have yet to ever receive that again, and I don't think I ever will. You feel me? Like that was a different kind of love. So yeah, it made
Yeah.
me think of my grandma for sure.
Amen.
I wrote the question. Well, I didn't even write the question down, and I had to actually think about it just now. Uh, when I think of when time is enough, I think of just how God says, you don't know the time of the hour, and that doesn't just state for, that doesn't just mean for when He's coming back, but that just means for, like we said, the people that we could lose along the way. Um, I mean, I just recently lost a friend in the military in a car accident, and it was just, he was my age. So it's like, you really just never know when that time or when that hour is for you. It's not just necessarily saying when that time or hour is for God to come back. So that's why I think of it. Again, that was just a random question I just want to throw in there. But getting to the actual first question, I would say, um, looking back, what was the toughest hurdle in your healing journey throughout this loss, and what helped you get past it? We'll start off with you, E, since most started last time.
The toughest journey for me was learning how to receive love, like learning how to receive love from people in my healing journey because I never really received it because like I said, like the love I received from my grandma, it was totally different. It's on another level. So it was hard for me to really trust people, for me to really love people, allow people to get close to me, and for me just being around like genuine people like Mo, like my college teammates and like coaches, even like some coaches that I met along the way, my journey of just hooping, like just being around them showing me love, like showing me that I can trust them, showing me like that they have my best interest at heart. So it's always been more so for me, just that love. It's been hard for me to like even now to this day, like giving that love to my girls, to my kids, like the love that I give them, like the love that I try to give them, is the love that I seen my grandma give me. So it was tough, but it's also was like genuine, just allowing me to be a kid, allowing me to be human. So that's what I try to do with my kids. I try a lot of them to be human, a lot of them to make mistakes. Like they're kids, like they're babies. So obviously they're gonna make mistakes, they're gonna do stuff, but just like not being a quick to get mad or yell or scream. So just more so being patient, like being giving them patient love. So that was just it for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of deep though. I ain't gonna lie to
Listen, as a dad,
Yeah, that's the second part. He said, "How'd you get over it?" Right? Or how'd you heal?
yeah, like how what helped you get past it? Like what was that like point where you're like, okay, I can start receiving this love from everybody? Like what part in the journey was like, okay, this is time where I feel like I do need this, or I can actually receive it.
it was when I really started praying a lot. When I really started praying, talking to God, like it allowed me to like to really receive that love because it was like, all right, I know I'm hurt, but like I was grieving, like it's basically just I was grieving someone that wasn't here. You feel me? And people were just showing me love, and I would like block it off. But like the more I started to pray, the more I started like open my heart and be genuine and just like let myself bleed. Like you get what I'm saying? Like I allowed myself to bleed out on other people and just allow like them to love me. So that would really help me just to prayer and just basically just accepting it. So that was it.
I feel that one right there for
So,
sure.
yeah, toughest part for me was forgiving those that say they're gonna be there for me.
Mm,
Um, I can't. We do the because it's easy when like, bro, I'm there for you, and then when things happen, you call on them, they don't answer, or they distance themselves. This name will remain nameless. But I remember when I first told one of my friends at the time that I was thinking about obviously committing suicide.
mm,
And I can see the shift in him in our friendship from there. And if from then, it ain't been the same because he was just like, I find myself in pins and needles because as men, sometimes they always tell us to express ourselves, but when we do, it's like, oh, you're weak.
mm,
Or it's like, oh, how about if he really does do it? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I gave my heart to this person, and if anything, that made my healing process longer because I'm like, I didn't. With that moment, I basically stereotyped it towards everybody else. So like, dang, if I share that with him, I can't share it to the next person.
yeah,
And this is actually my first time ever telling somebody, ever speaking about it. And honestly, the moment that did help me, Cam, you don't even remember this, but you FaceTime me with Solo and Promise one day. And the moments I was going through it, like bad, and you kept checking on me and like, hey bro, you good? Like, and literally you didn't know that those moments, those things did something for me. So then I had to realize that people have things they have to do. People have kids, people are married, people have a job. So I
mm,
had to realize I'm running in therapy that sometimes I can't put that all on them because sometimes they just don't understand, right?
yeah,
Because like me losing my father, some people did say I understand, but I just look at them like, no, you don't. Like this is a pain. Like losing a parent is like losing this. Like you lose a piece of you. Literally, that's how it feels.
tough
So
feelings.
when they literally, I used to be like, don't tell me you understand because you don't, and don't say it just to be nice. Sometimes just you being here is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel as if you have to say something just to make me feel better. Because if anything, it's gonna make me more mad. Just to be honest. So then, those moments did it was hard, but then when I started forgiving and obviously with therapy, that's one of the things that helped me. Honestly, like E said, the number one thing was when I read the story of Job. My mom told me to read that. That's why it's important when you in the healing process to have those right people around you,
Yeah,
right? Because the thoughts I had was not only my thoughts, it was also surroundings I had, right? Other people was battling the same things. They were drinking, smoking. So if anything, they wanted to. That's actually the first time since we opened it up. That's the first time I ever tried weed. It wasn't really like legit weed. Look at your face. I'm opening up E. That's what we doing. It was.
hey,
Smoke.
he called a spade a spade. Let's
I'm
get it
calling a
real.
spade a
Whoa,
spade.
That's what it
whoa.
is. He called a spade a spade.
Hey.
So it was that CBD. It was a pen, and doing research, you think, oh, okay, let me try it. I remember I just took one puff, and literally, I was just like, bro, what the heck am I doing? Threw that junk straight in the trash. And then that was literally, but the thing is we try to go based off culture how to heal, right? And if
Mm,
anything, people use drugs and alcohol no discredit to them because they're trying to heal and they're trying to numb themselves because they don't want, because anxiety, your brain's just going
yeah.
and you try to make it stop. So that was one thing I was trying to do. I don't
Question.
know. Go ahead.
Do you think that come from like when you said like we try to do culture? Do you think that come from like how like men are viewed, like if we try to like express ourselves to other people, like you said, like it's considered weak? Do you think that like people use that as like a coping mechanism, like smoking or drinking, because of how it's viewed as a man, like not being able to express yourself and being viewed as like as a strong individual, but like it'll be like, oh, you weak if you tell me this, because like it's like you said, like if you like the example that you're using, somebody saying they're gonna be there for you but they don't. So you express yourself to someone about how you feel, and then they make you feel 10 times worse than what you feeling. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it leads you to other things. So I think that's like more of a society thing. Like, that's more of them people who we giving it to, not the person who's affected by it. The people that we're giving that to, like, yo, listen, this how I feel. You get what I'm saying? And like you said, you don't even gotta say nothing. It's just the fact that you're there, and you make me feel like, all right, I'm safe. Like I can express how I feel to you. But if you're there and then you just saying anything, I could feel like, all right, this person think I'm weak, or this person think like, okay, like, yeah, no, I don't know what he talking about. He crazy. Like, I don't do that. Like, what he mean? Like, what you thinking? Like, but
Yeah,
people don't understand. Like, that could take a turning point in somebody's life when
Yeah.
you not really fully there for them. So that's crazy that you said that, because that hit me when you said like the culture. Because I was thinking about that. Like, we do use that as a coping mechanism, because I use that. Like, and to
Yeah.
go back on my point, like I'm still healing. I'm still healing. Like it's like with the love. You get what I'm saying? Like, my healing process is not done, and I think nobody's is. But that was just deep though. Like what you just said, that was crazy.
Yeah, because and then I had to realize I read this in a devotional that me losing my dad, honestly, it helped me be a better person, and
mm,
it also made me be a better man towards the players, right? Because now my players and people started dealing with those things, and I didn't know until then. Because when I'm going through it, obviously I'm mad. Like, why is this happening to me, right? And then I never forget the moment when my players they're starting to things are start happening in their lives, and I was literally I had felt like I had a connection with them where before I didn't, because I really didn't understand, because that pain is no feeling I would wish upon my worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? So literally, I drew a connection with my players, and like you just said, I went from maybe judging someone because they're doing something, and then now I started, especially me being a teacher, I wanted to get to the root to their problem,
Mm.
right? So, for example, we start journaling, and they be like, "Dang, I didn't realize that this happened to me so long ago," right? Because the thing about trauma, it does something to your brain where you literally start remembering everything.
yeah,
Some things that you're as a as a kid you want to forget. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So
No, facts.
literally that's things, bro. I just started thinking about everything. I started thinking about it one time. I remember growing up, one of my friends ended up shooting himself. I remember vividly having a gun, and then they had to call the ambulance. Like, but the thing is, I had like spots. I'm like, dang, I didn't even remember that. Going
mm,
through my mama's house, and I'm remembering things. So like literally, what trauma does to your brain. That's why, like I said, that's when anxiety and stuff comes in. So what people do is they lean on alcohol, drugs, but they're also, honestly, we have to do better as men. We have to do better as society. Even me, just to be honest, in the role I am, me as a pastor, I have to do better in those roles too as well. Right? That's having a conversation, that's sitting them down and telling them the proper way to heal. Because I feel like as men, we're not taught those things. Right?
mm,
Like, for example, if we tell somebody, hey, you hurt my feelings, man, you soft, man. You
yeah,
better. So then my thing is the first person I ever said that you hurt my feelings was to my wife. And even saying feelings isn't to another man. Like, you be like, what? Hey, bro, you tripping,
yeah,
bro. Hey, pause, bro. You tripping, bro.
Nah, for real.
That's the, so then literally either, let's just be honest, like either you or you on the other side, pause, like, come on, bro. Like, I can't even tell the man he handsome
mm.
without somebody saying pause. You know what I'm saying? So
No, for
like
sure.
I get that side, but then some things now I gotta be aware of everything I say now.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. That plays a part too as well. Like I like my players, something I do with them now, and this is actually my healing process. Every time I see them, shake their hand, first thing I say is, "You can't go at me." Get the but the reason why I say that, I get a laugh at them.
Yeah,
I hug them, and boy, I give them the biggest compliment. Boy, you clean, boy. Hey, boy,
Yeah.
you look good.
And you always been like that though. You always been like that.
Bro,
Hey,
ain't no
you
shade.
always been
I
like that
know that
though.
for
That's
sure.
crazy.
Yeah. So then, because we growing up, if you pull up in the car, the first thing they'll be like, "Why you bought that car?"
Mhm.
Instead of being happy for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is, oh, why you got your hair like that? Like, so the thing is, I wanna with my players, my healing process is me throwing affirmations at them because honestly, they don't feel good about themselves. I got one player on my team. When I first got him, he was 285. I threw him a large jersey. He put it on. He was like, "Coach, this don't fit me." I said, "Yeah, dude." "Coach, what you mean?" I said, "Yeah, it fit you. That's your size."
Mhm.
I said, "So I need you to fit in that one day." That man went to the doctor the other day. That man 260, bro.
It's amazing.
Lost 20 pounds in 1 month.
That sounds unhealthy, but that's amazing.
Yeah. Sound
But
like
no, that's great.
stress.
So,
That's crazy. And so you feel like this is what has really helped you get past that, you know, initial toughest hurdle that you had? Is that
oh
healing,
shoot,
affirming your like players and stuff?
yeah, and serving.
Mm,
Honestly, serving people that situations worse than mine, and that's honestly that really was the biggest one. When I serve people and literally they have or talking to people that done lost multiple people and they got a smile on their face,
mm,
I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Or honestly, I just realized that the things that Jesus went through, like even the story of Job, like this man lost everything,
everything.
wife and all, even friends. Like, hey man, what you doing? Like even discrediting him. Like, you sure you didn't do nothing? Like,
Mm,
you sure? Man, I ain't do nothing, bro. But so then me reading those things because I feel like people don't read the Bible like and meditate on it. There's a difference. You can read it like you can do your daily devotional. You ain't reading. But if you reading who what season they was in, where they
mm,
was at, who wrote it, like then things start changing. Like when you dissect each scripture because he's trying to say something. Even it being in Hebrew or Greek, like different versions. One version is different than other. So literally when you do that, when I started meditating on the word, I'm like, dang, like I think I got a bad head. No. And then when I serve other people, right? Me being a coach and doing those things, coaching did help me. Obviously being my wife. Oh, my wife. That's the one right there. See, now that I think about it, it was her. Because how I knew is when I lost my. I'm sorry, I'm taking a long time. Can't taking so long.
nah, you good.
When I lost my cousin, I didn't know because I cried in front of my mom. I said my wife. Honestly, more than I did my whole life. Sometimes I cry on a weekly basis now, whereas before I didn't because my wife is a emotion. I ain't gonna say emotion. She's in tune to all her emotions,
Mm,
which is very key. Some people are not in tune to anger, so they don't know how to control their anger, their sadness, and when they're happy. My thing is, I was just numb, right? So I didn't know what true happiness was, or I didn't know how to be sad. So what I did is I just stay still, but I knew how to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of weird to me, but I didn't know until being with my wife. So literally seeing her how she navigates through everything, it helped me as a man, and she's also my safety net. So I used to cry for her, like, come home. How I knew is me, I didn't know what a pallbearer was. My uncle called me, hey, you gonna be a pallbearer for your cousin. I said, what is that? Pallbearers, if you don't, people that don't know, is when you carry the casket.
mm,
So mind you, think of being somebody that used to play around with growing up as kids, and now you can't. Whoever envisioned they gonna carry their cousin in the casket, never, or even their brother, because he was basically a brother to me. I'm sitting in there, I'm sitting there like, damn, bro, Cam, not one tear in my eye, not one. So I'm like, damn, man, am I sad? Like, bro, we put the thing obviously in the little hearse. We walk off. We was like downtown area, Cam. As we walk off with my wife, and I looked at my wife because the whole time I wasn't with my wife. As soon as I got with her, bro, I'm on the ground, bro. Fell straight on the ground and lost it. And then at that moment, I realized that, damn, my wife is my safety net.
mm,
I have full, he said earlier, I'm able to express myself to her,
mm,
right? So then now my mental knows that and literally was waiting on them. So when I was able to now, like I said, you have, and now what I'm doing now is my wife, because obviously she can't handle everything. That can be a lot. That could be a lot for her, right?
Yeah.
Because she still got to deal with her. It's also I wanted that to be have that relationship with another man. No pause. You know about pause, bro. Somebody gonna say
I
pause.
feel like I
I wasn't even
just,
thinking about that.
I don't believe
so
it.
then,
Good.
so then she said, and the thing is, I'm like, man, I don't know who to talk to. She said you have to give him a chance.
Hmm.
Because honestly, E, you was that person for me. We didn't know at the time in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I know. Same,
Them
same
late,
for you. Same,
them late
same
nights,
way.
them conversations we had. So I didn't have
Facts.
that here. So then, what's crazy is, I said, all right, let me try. So I'm on the phone with Cam, and me and Cam having real conversations about marriage, right? Because we try to put on this little front that we okay. Sometimes embarrassing things happen. Me and him conversations. I talked to my boy Nick, and then literally now I feel better about myself as a man. Like things are starting to unlock myself. So the healing process literally, honestly, started with God, right? Because I went to the Word.
Hmm.
Then it was my wife. Obviously, get into a home church, right? I have a pastoral people around you, those church people around you, and then obviously now I got the friend group. So now it's a whole approach, right? So if I want to steer, now I got a family around it because obviously with my dad I didn't have those things.
Hmm.
I did, but not in all areas. Now literally I got brothers, obviously pastor was wife, serving. I got a family.
Yeah.
So that's literally, I know that was a long time, but that
Nah,
was just
it
it.
wasn't that long of a time. It was great.
Hey, that's the title of it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, like we said, time isn't enough, and we got time to talk. So
No,
uh,
no, for real.
everything that both of y'all said has really hit me. I ain't gonna lie, I almost been tearing up a little bit in my head. I just don't really let it out as much.
I'm trying to hold my. I'm gonna cry. I think I'm gonna cry.
No, like speaking of mine. I think I may end up actually laying out a little bit because it's like everything y'all said literally has been like my journey of like pretty much lost in life. Um, just like we speak about losing a parent, although I didn't lose my mom or my dad, I did lose someone that was very comparable in the time that it was for me. Very young, and technically at that time I did lose my dad. Which let me go ahead and break down this dynamic down real quick. So I have a mom and a dad. My dad and mom are not together. So when I say dad, I also do have a stepdad. So I call him dad because he's been with me since I was 8 years old, and he taught me how to
That's
be a
my
man.
guy.
Um, then when I say mom or dad on the other end of it, and y'all kind of hear the context change a little bit, it'll be my stepmom and my dad. My stepmom was a very big part of my youth because when my mom, when it was just my mom and it wasn't, my mom and dad, it was my mom and her. She was, she was around. She's very present for me. So it's basically like having another person to kind of lean on. I remember looking back when I was younger as having like my siblings had somewhere else to go. They still had godparents or dads that still wanted to come get them. But for me, my dad was in and out of jail or prison, so it was tough to try to really find that figure, but then have nobody else. Again, my life as a younger person was really based off of the strong women in my life, which were my mom, my grandma, and my stepmom. So it was really like when everybody else was going somewhere else to go chill, hang out with the other siblings, I was still stuck with my mom at the time, and then of course my stepmom would get me from time to time, sometimes Sundays to go see my dad in prison. So that's like the only time I could really kind of connect with him in that way. But it really wasn't like how you wanted to. You may have had questions of how to grow up a little bit, and stuff like that. And those were questions I couldn't ask him because he just wasn't in that position to actually tell me. But it was about sometime when I was younger. My dad actually ended up killing my stepmom, and that. All right, it's kind of it's kind of getting right now.
Take
That
your
was
time, bro.
um, it was tough. It was real tough because it was at the time of my age. I really felt my heart really like tearing. Um, it was a Sunday, uh, fresh into the new year, and I remember being in church, sitting there, kind of, just enjoying it, just thinking it's another Sunday, getting ready to start off the year, and everybody else knew. Pastor ended up praying about it, um, basically telling everybody, we lost a family member. So after church, everybody's, sad, a little down, and I'm the only one that doesn't know. I'm still sitting here trying to, just live life as a cool kid. And I remember my mom and my dad pulling me to the side, and just kind of like, breaking the news to me. And a
Mm.
part of me, most people think their immediate emotion would be pain or, sadness or anything. But because of who it was and who did it, my immediate reaction was rage. Um, and that was literally my toughest hurdle to get past was the rage portion. I still deal with this portion to this day, um, because it was like, you know for me in my head, it immediately thought of how can you go and take someone who's been here more than you, and it was like I hated my dad for a very long time after that. Actually, it was a very very strong hatred. I mean, to the point where at point in times I was like, this dude could die and I won't care. Like, God, if you really are, I started to question God at that time too. But like, God, if you really the person that you say you are, you'll take him from this earth because he did something that he wasn't supposed to do. And for so long, that kind of that stuck with me a lot because it was again, this woman was showing up for birthdays. You know, my mom again being a single mom of four at the time, uh, showing up for birthdays and getting me gifts because she knows that mom, may not be able to do all she can for all of us. Um, so like, and then just heard the way that she showed me love. It was again like you would have thought I was her own child, with her already having two of her own, and I'm still close to them as well to this day. But it was like it made me upset even more because as I went throughout life, it had me thinking that I could have done something about it, or that I I had some people kind of, you know, even on her side of the family shun me because they felt like because you're associated to him, you're also a part of him. So we don't he's not here for us to blame, but you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, you still bear this last name and you know, so it was tough, and you know, after a while you try to run away from it, you try to just make sure people don't know about you, but as big as Lakeland is, Lakeland ain't that big. You know that for sure, Mo. So um time went on, I started to realize, well, I didn't realize it, but I was already kind of battling with depression and anxiety and things like that because I didn't know how to deal with this type of situation. And the only way, again, like we said, the culture shows us, it doesn't really show men as having feelings. The only thing we can know and do know how to do well is get angry. We know how to get mad. We know how to, we know how to lash out. We know how to misbehave, and do things that we're not normally used to doing. And although I was still a good kid, but that rage still sat in the back of me. It was still there. And I remember, I think this is when I really like. I think now when I say this, I never want to hit anyone. I'm pretty. I try to say out stuff unless this comes to me. But I remember being I was a sophomore in high school, going to George Jenkins, and I literally remember stuff like vividly. Like we said, trauma sometimes past that brings stuff up. So at this point in my life, I'm like, I'm telling myself I'm okay. I'm telling myself, okay, you're good now. You've kind of got past that point. You're a little bit older. You got stuff going on, so you can just keep yourself busy. And that's what I was doing. I was just keeping myself busy all the time. Um, I remember being in reading class, and it's like the first couple of weeks of school. I'm in class with this girl and this dude. They like to call each other cousins or whatever like that, but they really weren't. And y'all know how situations like that go. Teenagers really just don't understand the impact of stuff sometimes. And I remember this girl saying, hearing my last name. Again, my last name, I tried to like really hide it like a lot because I just, for me, I was hiding it until I felt like I was making that name good. Like I was
Yeah.
making that name something that people could really like, oh, dang, Enzor, like, forget about what that happened in the past. But like, this Enzor that I know, you know, I'm still building that to this day, actually, for my family and for my son. But I remember sitting in class and the teacher said my name, and I said here, and the girl looked at me. She said, Enzor. She said, and as belligerent and idiotic as someone could say this, she goes, "Your dad the one that killed my auntie." Like, and I'm like, you don't even know. Like, it at that point, the room got silent. I got upset, and again, first reaction I want to go to is rage. Like I'm fist balled up, like you can see it on my face, and sometimes rage can come out as crying. So of course, everybody thought that was a little bit weak because I didn't immediately lash out, but I was still crying out of anger. Um, and it was tough. I'm just trying to, and the thing that really made that a lot tougher is because, as in my head, I'm thinking, I know what my dad has done. I know who everyone perceives my dad as. But me trying to change that, I have to be different. So it's kind of like one of those moments of turning the other cheek. If you're gonna slap me on this cheek, I'm turning the other one so you can slide on too. But I'm not gonna show you what you want to see. And it was tough because it was like, I'm closer to her than you are, and you don't even actually notice that. You said my dad, but you didn't realize that my dad was married to her. So you have to put the correlation together of saying, okay, if you're his son, that makes her your mother, and that that's more comparable than an auntie. So that was really tough because ever since then, in my head, I was thinking I have to change this narrative, and sometimes that can make you put on a false identity, you know,
Yep.
do stuff that aren't really you. Um, and that really led a lot into my older life of continuously losing people and kind of things like that, to the point where again, the suicidal thoughts, you know, it big, and we've had a discussion about it, because I told y'all, when I first met you, I kind of explained my story to it, but I'll kind of
Yeah.
give it a little bit more into the podcast. I know I talked about having major depression disorder, anxiety, and all stuff like that in the last episode, but the reason I have those things is from the suicidal thoughts and the things that I've seen in the military, that also are based around suicide, and the people I've lost, not only in the military but also my family alone as well. People don't talk about how hard it is, especially for um, deployments as well. That was a big thing because in my deployment, I lost three uncles within 3 months.
Mhm.
So um, it was tough because you want to be there for family as well, but you can't. You want to break down, but you don't have anybody around that you can trust. And that's where when you said that trusting and receiving love, I didn't. If I don't, if I don't consider you really, really close to me, I'm not giving. Like I'll bottle it up, keep it as hidden as possible, and keep pushing. Like I said, but as long as I can keep myself busy and my mind going, I'm not going to really, defer from it. And I remember just like again, and my wife was calling me. She called me. And she was like, "Hey, I heard you found out. Like, are you okay? Like, everybody was trying to keep it kind of secretive until you got back because we know how hard it is to be over there." And for me, my quickest answer was, "I'm okay." It's everybody's first reaction. I'm fine. I'm okay because I know I can keep myself busy. Uh,
Hmm.
but and again, Mo, your wife being your safety net. My wife was my safety net. When my wife deployed and my son wasn't here, you know, eh, again, um, I learned this a while back is because I didn't realize it, but the day that because I have attempted to commit suicide, um, the day I did that, it was literally the day after my stepmom had died, and I
Hmm.
didn't know. It was a strong moment for me because I felt that the day before it was off, but I didn't realize it. I didn't remember what day it was because again, I'm just so quick with pushing stuff to the back of my mind and keep myself busy. Um, and I just remember like I didn't realize it as I was doing it, and that whole entire thing happened. Of course, I was rushed to the paramedics. I was on the phone with my mom and my wife at the time, so that's just a hard conversation to kind of have with them, as well as
Mm.
they you you know essentially what they think may be your last breath. Um, and I love to say this because it's such a this is where I knew God was really and I told you this too, Mo. Where really God was calling to me because you know my last scene from that night was me blacking out on my floor in my bathroom, you know, but everybody else's last scene of me was being carried out to the stretcher. But the only way that happened was because the officer came to the door and my mom or my wife, one of them ended up showing me, I believe it was my wife, they ended up showing me that I crawled to the door and opened it for the officer, on my last breath, you know, um, you can hear the breathing. I'm struggling to even get a breath out.
Nah,
And
you good. You good. Take your time.
this just goes to show me that God really has a love for us. He really has a love for us and a purpose for us because it was in that moment of watching that video where I was like, I didn't do that. I
Mm.
didn't open that door. You feel me? Like, I didn't. I
Mm.
could have done it. You know what I mean? It was crazy. Um, I look at it and I'm like, I can't. That couldn't have been me. Again, my last sight was my toilet. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm about to leave, and at the time I'm numb to it, so I really didn't care. You know, um, I really didn't care, and to see that I got to that door, even just seeing how the guy interacted with me, how quick he was to say, "I need to get him," the officer, like trying to keep me awake, trying to keep my eyes open, calling me out. Uh, and then one of our friends that we have here, her name is Ricky, calling my sister. She's like a sister to me for sure. But having her even, pull up to my house and still just be there. I remember hearing on the camera her saying, "I'm here for you, Cam. I'm here for you, bro. I got you. I got you." You know,
Mm.
again, things I'm not realizing because I'm not there. Then waking up in the morning, and then seeing my mom sitting next to me. My mom lives 2 hours away. You know what I mean? In Jacksonville. And for her to have gotten there that quick, I know, and of course, it's a mother's love, and that's how it works. But to know, I'm sure my mama didn't do nothing less than 100. You know what I mean?
150.
I'm telling you, like
What?
no less than
What?
100.
To the flow.
To get there, it was, you know, sitting there. I realized, just kind of sitting there. I was like, okay, I'm still not here yet, to where I feel like this can be done, but I know I need to get out of here though. Leaving, they sent me to a mental facility to kind of get help, and I remember being in there. I had a therapist, um, and her name was Lindsay. She was such an amazing therapist to me because she kind of put everything into perspective. She did not give up. When I tell you, I wasn't willing to give this lady nothing. Bro, like I wasn't willing to give this lady not a lick. Like in the first couple of days that I was there, I was like, I met a really cool friend in there. Her name too. Uh, but we were like, we leaving. I was like, after 3 days, bro, I'm getting out of here because I don't even want to be here. I just want to go home. You know what I mean? My wife was back. They flew my wife back from her deployment. To my wife 2 days, literally. She was there. I got to see my wife before I left out of the hospital, and we were here, and she took me to get picked up and everything. But bro, again, I'm not. I want to be where my wife is because I know my wife is my safety net. So me, I'm not even trying to give this lady like a piece of information. I'm giving her ones and twosies. She's asking what happened. Well, you know what happened. You have the reports. This is why I'm here. But I want to leave. So if you can ask him, can I leave? Like that'd be great. Like I don't need y'all, but I need to be gone, bro.
Amen.
I had friends come in into the hospital, check on me and stuff like that, and I even told them not to tell our pastors. I was like, yo, don't tell them nothing, you know. And that was that when we speak about the cultural thing, like, hey, I don't want people to know this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay as far away from it. I don't want people to really be in my business as much. And that's sometimes what you need, those people to be in your business. Because had somebody been in my business that night, it would have been, really helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just like being in there and then finally kind of being like, okay, I started reading a Joyce Myers book. Joyce Myers book is called Me and My Big Mouth. And just reading that and kind of going through, sitting down with Lizzie and her really not giving up. I'm telling you, she was like, she even told me, she's like, I know you're hiding. She's like, I know you're sitting behind, like this mask you have. She's like, but she's like, I'm not, you're going to have to tell me something. She's like, I'm not letting you out of this room until you tell me something. So of course, as I started to open up and tell her, I started to also realize myself that I wasn't over this hurt that happened to me, like, that long ago. I was still dealing with the rage, the anger, the loss of a lot of people and all these things. And, you know, and it was like, okay, let's start piecing together. Just like you said, Mo, it was that time to kind of like piece stuff together. So I remember she made me, she gave me a list of all the months, all the days in it. And she said, I want you to write down a specific day, like she said, good, bad. She said, what happened on this day? Um, and all the events. She said birthdays. She said deaths. She said special things that happened to you on that day, when your son was born, stuff like that. And literally, I couldn't even get past the first paper because the second was when my stepmom died, and the third is when my incident happened. So I couldn't even get past, the first month because we had already figured out where it was. And she was like, "Do you see how?" And as I did it, I stopped and I started crying to her too. And she was like, she's like, "Continue." She's like, "Keep going." He's like, because there's more stuff that's in there that you have, but you just don't notice yet. And as I
Mm-hmm.
look at it, she said, you have to remember that some days are memorials to you. Some days are holidays to you, but they're not the holidays that you want. So, Mo, the loss of your cousin, your dad, the loss of your grandma, stuff like that. Those are holidays to you that you don't ever really notice because your body feels it because they know what day it is, and you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, you're feeling out of it, and those are times that you do need, us to kind of help you pull
Yeah.
it out of it. And Mo, what did I tell you at that Chili's when you Solo and Promise came up to me to come to me that weekend? What did I tell you about like why I didn't tell y'all? Do you remember?
You said the hardest part was it that one?
Let's go down. Yeah, cool. I'll say it if you don't remember. Let's go.
I know. I'm saying. Did you say the hardest part is like come like basically you have to face people because it didn't? I guess it didn't happen or something like that.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it right, but it was in terms of that.
no,
You gonna say it better
it's
now?
cool. It's cool. But it's I told him I was like, everybody thinks the hardest part is the when it happened. But in reality, the hardest part is coming back home after you failed it.
No, that's what it was. Yep.
Talk about friends at the time who, I told you, Mo, I said the reason why I held off on calling you, Solo and Promise, is because I knew how hard y'all was going to show up for me. But I wanted
But
to give
you was
people,
there.
bro, I'm talking about, the thing is, y'all didn't even notice it. Y'all didn't even know, for real, like, Promise and Solo was like, oh, yeah, we're going to pull up. I was like,
I didn't know
okay, cool.
nothing.
Bro, they didn't tell this man nothing. Like even like Promise, like I think Promise was the only one I actually kind of told because he kind of knew a little bit. But bro, they didn't tell this man nothing. They just said get in the car. They didn't even know how much I really needed him to be there with me too.
Man.
Literally. And they pulled up and we went bowling. Oh yeah, Mo know what it is, but we ain't gonna get into it. But
Hey.
nah, but they didn't understand how much that really meant to me because I was missing that. And we talk about being men and needing another man to kind of help us. Um, When I got back, my pastors had known about it, so they were immediately checking up on me. It's my youth pastor. I'm really cool, and Pastor Caleb. And I remember him just like, actually him and my head pastor, Pastor Mark. They both just like sat down and like was like, "Yo, we understand. We may not be your go-to, but we're here."
Amen.
And at that time, it meant so much to me because it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Um, I couldn't put too much on my wife because I've already put too much on my wife. We just dealt with a situation where I almost wasn't here. So now I have to try to find someone else and something else to try to help me. And my pastors and Mo, my friends, my family, they became a very big, great outsource. Pastor Tim Timberlake, man, trying to call me while I'm in the facility. You know what I mean? They're trying to call and check on me, and it was a lot because it showed me right there. It's just like, one, I still have a purpose of life to go on, and two, it's there's people that care. That not only are the people that care, but there's men that care.
Mm.
And I feel like I hate how culture has caused it to be this whole pause thing to where you can't go talk to another man or give another man a compliment or something like that because of, you feel like, oh, that's just you glazing, bro. You doing too much. You D-riding, whatever. But it's like, no, it's giving a man exactly what they need. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand that a man's thing is affirmation. As being a husband, you want your wife to affirm you, but even if you don't have that, you need somebody to give you that. And that's what these guys gave me, was that love, that appreciation, that, hey, I want you to understand that you're needed here. Me and Mo always having conversations, like we said, tough conversations, man. This is real life as it is. We probably call each other about almost every day,
Yes.
almost every day, and talk. Like,
Yeah.
and, and the conversation usually just start off as like, "Oh, but how you doing today?" And be like, "Man, listen, bro, it's a lot." You know what I mean? Like, as of lately, I'm glad to say it's been more blessings than it has been, really, really hard conversations. Even on your part, we just seeing you, get over to
Yeah.
where you at now, and really, hey, but then you say you got a BMW already now, but let me break this down real
Oh
quick.
yeah, same life for a rainy day.
Like, you know what
Nah,
I'm
I'm just playing out. Nah, blessings for sure, definitely blessed. Bro.
But definitely,
I'm
so
grateful.
just seeing how God is working through all of our situations is it's really been, you know, helpful to one have this conversation because honestly, people think we just doing this podcast just to kind of like do this podcast, but in reality, it's really an outlet for all three of us in a way.
Yeah,
And people don't understand how easy that is to do when we can actually set a time and talk. And that's sometimes what you have to do. Hey, set a time, talk with those guys that are can understand you and also relate to you, but also
Mhm.
be like, hey, bro, listen, this is how I got through it. Everybody likes to say, oh, it takes a village, right? Yeah, this is also part of that village. It doesn't stop with just a baby. It continues going on. So you have to choose your friends wisely. You have to, one, before all things, have a great relationship with Christ because he's the one that I've learned sometimes, like when I'm really not saying nothing to my wife, when I'm really not saying it to nobody, and I'm really going through it, he's there.
All the time.
He's got me. He's hey, as I'm getting on my knees praying to him. Hey, what I'm. I ain't even got it, bro. And the thing is, it's become so easy to talk to God because like I I don't even need to sit there and try to go through this big old long, you know, spiritual Baptist prayer or whatever like that. No, it's like, hey, I go to God like, hey, you know what I'm going through. I don't know what to do. So, you know, what do you want me to do to get out of it? How am I supposed to get out of it? What are you leading me to get out of it? And like I said, serving has been a very big part of that as well. Just seeing the impact you have on people's lives. But again, making sure you tell people like, hey, I appreciate you. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know what you're going through. Are you going through anything? Hey, you can talk to me. Just being available, even through what you're already going through. So, and as I've done these things, I've seen that rage and I've seen rage turn into forgiveness. You know, before while I was really angry, I'm talking about when my dad used to call me. I was like, I can't. Why is this man calling? I would look at my phone like I'm not answering this. You know, like why do I need to answer this? And it slowly turned into, you know what? I'm forgiving him. You know, God is calling me to forgive, and that's what I have to do. So this is where I'm leading towards, and Um, and as we can see, that took years. Whole situation happened when I was 8. I'm 25 to be where I'm at now. You know what I mean? My suicide incident happened in January 3rd. Can't forget it. You know, and that wasn't the only time I thought about suicide. You know, so it showed me again. It doesn't matter how much time you have or that you go along with it. This is like if you ain't got Christ and faith, it's hard.
Hmm.
Time can only do so much before again we bottle it up, and then that bottle explodes. You stuff it to the back of your mind, you push it in the back, you try to compartmentalize what you have, and it's like that box in that garage gonna end up needing to get cleaned out. You know what I mean? Because you don't pack so much stuff into it. So um, I say that was Mo. Y'all helped me get past it for sure. And then it was really Christ and the people that He put around me. Um, really diving into getting to know Him better is what really started that process of getting past the rage, getting past the unforgiveness, getting past the suicidal thoughts, the anxiety, and things like that. And as I continue going on, of course, the devil doesn't try to hit me with these things again. But I know who I can immediately run to. If nobody's
Yeah.
picking up, and I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, cool. I got my Bible. Let's go read God. Me and Mo, we had a conversation on how you were telling me I was waking up, and that was something that Mo told me too, bro. I used to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning every night. Max, I get 2 hours of sleep, maybe. You know what I mean? And Mo told me, he's like, listen, bro. He's like, are you waking up at 3 o'clock, right? And if I'm saying this right, Mo, you said that's the time that God's calling you. Like that's a time of prayer. And bro, when he told me that, and I started using that, oh my gosh, bro.
Ooh,
Oh
that's
my,
crazy. You might have just unlocked something for me. Cause I've been waking up lately 3, 4 in the morning for real. And I don't know why I've been waking up, but that's crazy. Like that's
Because
wild.
think at that time, the world is silent. He
nothing,
has your full, undivided attention, no distractions.
bro. Listen.
So not to cut him off, literally when I was going through my anxiety, that's why I told him. I said it was the same thing. I was sleeping 2 hours. I kept getting up at 3. But you gotta realize who's staying up. Who you calling at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Everybody's
You're not
asleep.
even gonna you're not gonna think to call nobody. So
Mm-mm.
at that moment, it's literally just you and him. It's you and him.
It's crazy. Bro. I was literally like, I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. Because I was literally like, to me, like he said, you don't want to call nobody. My pastor told me, yeah, call me at 3. And it's crazy because your pastors knew that you was waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning too. Because my pastor's like, yeah, call me at 3 or 4 in the morning. How do you know I'm waking up at that time? I didn't even tell
So
you
I'm
what time I
saying they always said that. I'm like, how you know when I'm up?
bro. Like
Who
that's what I'm saying.
told
How
you
you
that?
know I'm up at 3 and 4 in the
Who
morning?
told
You
you
know what
that? Like,
I mean?
man, tripping out
Who's
for
giving you
real.
this information? You're like,
Yeah, like, is you in my crib or something? Like, what do you
you
mean?
got cameras watching me, bro. But it was like when Mo told me that, and I started to do that, bro.
That's
It was a big realization of like what was really helping me. Like that. That's why I think the help from when I got back from the facility was the main help. Like that 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning became some of the best. Like some of the times where I wanted to wake up. You know, I was looking like I knew I was only gonna get 2 hours of sleep that night, Eve, but I was looking forward to waking up at that time because I knew what was there for me. Um, and again, I didn't realize that until Mo told me, and it was very transformative in my life at that time. Sometimes I do it to this day. Like when I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, randomly, I'm like, yes. Do this in a minute, but let's go. I already know what I'm about to get out of it. And yeah, it was just kind of it was really helpful. We talk about Greek meanings and things like that, and it's crazy how the Greek meaning for heal is therapio, and you know what therapio means in the Greek is to help, to serve. So I think it's very crazy that when we say we need help, we really just mean we need to serve, in a way. And kind of thinking of it that way, the root word of therapy is therapy. I know people like to think, and this is the really big like culture thing that I wish people would get out of is, oh, therapy is for those really crazy people. Therapy, you don't need therapy. You just need no. Like, I get it. Yes, you need God first, but if you're really struggling, and this is a call to really anybody. If you're really struggling, therapy and God work great together.
Amen.
It's an amazing thing, especially when you can find a therapist who's Christian based in their word as well. It changes everything that you actually know, because now you get to see how God isn't only just a God of forgiveness and all these things. Like he knows that we go through these things. There's plenty, bro. It was a time like look at Jesus in the garden before he's crucified. He's sweating blood because he's so anxious of this thing that's coming. So to think that he knew first off, I'm going to my father. Like I have to ask. Like I gotta talk to him. That goes to show you, hey, I need something. You know, the Bible like shows you like multiple times where people are asking or need help and they know who to go to, and it's not bad. You know, it's not bad to have to go get help. It's good that you know that you need help. So that's just what I gotta say for that. It's just if you need help, man, go get it. It's
Amen.
like if you don't know
So
where to find it, y'all can hit us up. Again, for everybody that's listening, y'all can hit me up. I'll definitely lead y'all to several different places that can get you help because it's necessary, man. You can't. The devil's gonna try attacking your mind because he knows that if you have God in your heart, but you don't have, it's not flowing through your mind. It don't matter. Like it's a missing piece right there. That's a connection that's missing between you and God. And um, if your mind is always cluttered, then you're not thinking about God first. You're thinking about what do I need to do? Why is it going on? Da, da, da. And you only know how to think of the bad. That's not how it goes. You have to think of how you can, how you can get out of this in a victory because it's waiting for you. It's just who you go to first. You know.
Amen.
Um, Again, that's why I said the time don't really matter, Mo, because I knew we was gonna go a little bit over because that was a lot for me. But yeah, man, that was big, you know, thing for me, and that's why I said y'all too. As y'all were saying that, I was like, it's crazy because it's showing me that we all have the same thought. We all go through the same thing. So why are people not jumping to help each other? Why are people not encouraging each other? We this is three different people, and I just met you this year. You know what I mean?
no,
But
so
we relate
we
so
locked
much.
in.
It's like it's like okay, we just met this year and we relate that much. How many more people do I know already that are going through these things and we don't know it yet?
But nobody want to speak up though because of
Exactly.
like what we just talking about, like the culture, like it's the culture thing. But man, I don't care to speak up. Like I ain't got no. I don't care about nobody saying nothing about himself or whatever. That don't matter to me. I've never been like that. Like you know what I'm saying. I've never spoken up because of like I said, healing with my losing my grandma. But I've never been scared to express myself about how I feel, especially when I'm hurting. Cause it's like I'm hurting. Like who can I talk to when I'm hurting? I've never. I'm not gonna say I've never, but I wasn't a big prayer. You feel me? Like back then, so I've always like I'm gonna tell you when I got a problem, I come to Mo in JUCO. I go to Mo. I go to his room. Even when we wasn't staying together freshman year, I go to his room and we'll talk about it. Like for real. Like Mo used to tell me, but you need to get right with God. You need to pray. You need to do this. I used to be like, man, well, I'm talking to you. What you talking about? I'm talking to you. Like I'm telling you this. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's like I know where my love and my belief came from in God, and that came from my grandma. And then when my grandma passed, like I kind of like lost it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you said, like you like how could you take somebody like that away from me? You know what I mean? Like somebody that loved me that much. So I just start going to people, like people that I trusted. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt. But I never been. I'm gonna tell it how it is. Like if I want to tell it, I'm gonna tell it how it is because it is like it's you know what I'm just like everybody needs help, and I've always knew that. I've always been in touch with my emotions about how I feel, and like, and I'm knowing like people need help. Like everybody need help. Like you can't do nothing in this world by yourself. Like, and I always knew that, especially mentally. Like if I like, I've always been battling with stuff in my mind, but for me to get over it, I either go to the court I'm gonna talk to somebody that I entrust with. Like I could let them know. Even if they was to be like, "Oh, you soft," I never get mad because it's like I'm not ain't worrying about what you talk about me being soft. I got what I said. What I need to say. You could have said like the smallest thing, like it could be anything. I could be like, bro, I don't know why. Like I'm just shedding tears. Like every time I'm just by myself, I'm alone, and I'm just thinking about my grandma. And you could just be like, bro, maybe she's still with you, da da da. But I think you crying that soft. You telling me you said maybe she's still with me. I'm like, okay, maybe he right. I'm not thinking about you saying, oh, you soft or you crying, because that's not what I was looking for. It don't matter. But long as I get what I was looking for, then we good. Like I know, like all right, boom. I can take a step forward. Not saying I fully hear it, but I know how to take a step forward. So just expression, like nobody want to do that. Everybody just feel like you got to keep it to yourself. You got to ball it in. You got to be quiet. But that's not how you like heal. That's not even how you like succeed in life. Cause like it could be any like the smallest thing. Like the biggest thing my mom and my grandma always told me: closed mouths don't get fed. And that could go in any way, shape, or form. Like whether you hurting or whether you need something, you need help. Like closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell
Ooh.
it for sure.
Untapped. I don't know. A couple things that came to me though. So, um, I think obviously we gotta talk more about untapped trauma, right?
Hmm.
And then Cam, did you honestly ever think about did your dad have any untapped trauma?
Oh, I'm sure he did. That's why I had to, that's why I give him so much. You talk about
Because
grace.
look, because look, we judge people, right? We turn the news on, right? And say somebody make a decision to kill somebody or do those things, which obviously, is wrong, but we don't dive deeply into like what was he going through at the time
Hmm.
or what happened, right? Because let's say if he did try to lean on somebody, it could have been that's why as a church community, we have to be mindful of that as well, right? That's where it's created for. But say if you do that and then we place judgment on him, not saying it's the right thing to do, but like I think we don't pay attention to that enough because you can also deal with that in school, obviously with bullying,
Hmm.
right? If somebody, like for example, if they not able to have a certain amount of clothes, they get picked on, or
Yeah.
we live in a social media world where everybody records everything,
Hmm.
which is really not helping. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that honestly, as a culture, and as we go into the social media world, because everybody wants to record everything, is about picking on and finding the thing, but I think we need to start basically just celebrating people more, honestly,
Yeah.
right? Because when somebody do it to you something, now you go to hating on them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why a lot of times people stay silent. But like you said, you need a village, right? Like think of Cam now. Think of that moment, like you said, in the bathroom, and then and then what you just told me about the football game. That boy running up to you.
Yeah.
I know that made you feel good.
Yeah.
E, I watch your video almost every day, and I see that smile on your face playing for France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got genuine love for you, bro.
Yeah.
Because I remember that flashback. The first time you got cut, I caught this man, and he was literally getting drunk. But
Yep.
literally at
Yep.
that moment, I could have imagine if I'd have been like, "I'm gonna cut this man off." Man, I talked to that man that whole day.
Yeah.
I
But
said, "E," I said, "E," 'cause I had to be a brother for him. I said, "E, no, we gotta get going." So
not
what we
facts.
started doing, we started drawing back. I said, "E, what you did that summer?" Man, I was written Lambos and did. I was just like, "Hey, so you already know what I did." I always tell him. I always tell players that season gonna dictate is gonna show you who really working.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if you came in and you was bull jobbing, hey, that play gonna show.
Not facts.
And then literally, I didn't know we didn't talk for, but then I remember when we first started talking about. It, he said, "Mo, that helped me, bro."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said that helped me. So
Not
my
facts.
thing is like as I'm and look at the spaces God has put us in because of those things.
Hmm.
E, you being the leader for your team right now. I seen a picture of you here in practice. I said, look at my boy, dog.
Come on, you know how I get down, man.
Cam calling me, and he like, yo, remember that was trying to test you. Some people think it's the devil. It ain't always devil. It's God as well sometimes.
God. God as well.
And
God does.
then and then you was mindful how you react. You said, "No, what? God, I'm gonna give it to you. Gave you a blessing."
Yeah.
So I think as we talk more about this healing process, that also our pain is basically healing someone else.
Hmm.
Jesus' pain did what for us?
Yeah, healed us by his
We
stripes.
don't we don't talk about that enough.
We don't by his. It literally says it by his stripes we are healed. So and
Um,
you know, like you said, getting back to my dad, I was thinking like I had to think about that to actually forgive him. I had to think about his growing up. You know, he also lost his dad, so he didn't have that figure to show him. So you know, I can only imagine how it would be to try to show me something that you don't know. You know, so just kind of in that way, I was like, okay, I have to be a little bit more forgiving because I don't know what else he's going through. You know, this is like now he also has to take on this weight of what it is, but that's on top of whatever else he had to deal with as well. So no, I definitely understand what you meant by that as well. But you spit a bar when you just said God, but you do it. That's all you
Don't do that,
that's all
bro.
you passed right there, because boy, that's a killer right there, boy,
but
for
Bro, for
sure.
real, like, cause we don't because and also realize that, like you just said, your dad, right, and who
Hmm.
know his dad dealt with. So that's why untapped trauma, if anybody listening to it, is bro, you gotta be very careful with that because if it's not healed, it's gonna be transferred to your kids, right?
Hmm.
And then you're gonna look at your kids dealing with the things that you're dealing with. So my thing is, at that moment, you healed towards that. Now your son ain't gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than you. We always make things about us. It's not about us.
Hmm.
And the thing about it, you have to be careful because then now they have kids, and then whoever they're around get affected. Like you have to be mindful of those things. That's why I tell people we don't. But also we don't know the discredit to the schoolhouses, but that's stuff that need to be brought to attention as much. I understand, obviously, school, college, and all those things, but how are we healing these kids emotionally,
Yeah.
right? Even you talk about sex, why tell them the points of that, right?
Hmm.
In biblical terms, right? Because we always continue to remove the Bible from things,
Yeah.
or there's certain topics we can't talk about. You know what I'm saying? But which I think is not the way though. The thing about it should be in the way you sit them down and you basically they're a student, you the teacher.
Hmm.
Plain and simple. But like I said, all those things you dealt with, and look, God's put both of y'all, all three of us, in a leadership role.
Hmm.
But He didn't give us that until we surrendered to Him. It
Yeah.
was like, God, you know what? It's not even about us. We're just gonna give it to you, bro. And with that, what He got going on, you, me, like literally, and it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Think about, think
He got
about
a
the
garden
moment.
now.
Think about the moment. Think about the moment we said yes. And I always tell people, it's so true. You don't know what comes after the yes.
Yeah.
We said yes to the podcast, and look what happened to our lives since
Crazy.
that day.
Crazy.
That's why you got to reflect sometimes. You
Say
know, you
what?
was going to France.
What we say? Kingdom.
Kingdom, bro.
Kingdom.
Is anybody listening to this? Heal from untapped trauma. Find a community, right? If anything, serving did help me. Prayer, be in the Bible. And he wake you up at 3 o'clock. He trying to get your attention. He trying to whisper to you. You want just to be you and him. You don't want nobody else around. So now, hey, I got your full attention. Hey, get into this word.
Sounded better
I'm
than that.
still stuck on that. That's crazy because I've been waking up 3, 4 in the morning. I used to be like, bro, why I'm up, bro? I got practice in the morning. I got to get what I'm saying. Like I never like really like thought of it like that. But like now that I have, like now that I know, oh man, it's a wrap.
It's a
Cause
wrap.
as soon as I
Man.
get up in the morning, first thing I do before I even hit the door, I pray. I thank God for a day and feel me and go about my day like. You know what I mean? Because I gotta thank him, bro. I wouldn't be here without him, and I don't want to
Yeah.
never leave. And you feel me? I always pray for my kids because they the most important thing in my life, and I'm away from them. You know what I mean? So me being a father, I gotta be a protector. How can I be a protector and not be there? My father gotta protect them, so I pray to God and that He watch over my kids like every morning, every night, every morning. Even sometimes when I'm just sitting here, like I just pray. I sit in my head and just say something like pray for my kids and I hope they doing good. Like get them a kiss for me. Like just the little smallest things, cause bro, like I'm a dad. Like more, I'm a dad. You get that? Bro, that's crazy, right? I'm a dad, like to girls that gonna grow up to be young women, bro. I gotta everything I'm doing now is for them, for sure. Like, how can I be a leader if I'm not in the right or if I'm not following the path that I want them to follow? So, nah, that's crazy.
And the words matter. It's that you're instilling kids. Because if a thing is going to be a record player in their head, right? If
Yeah.
you like, oh, you ugly, you this, that's what they're going to believe.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, my
But
hey, no.
but the thing is, if you throw affirmations, I know you're not doing this, but is anybody like, hey, you beautiful, you smart, you're going to
Hmm.
achieve great. And then, cause I think sometimes people, like you're saying, they think confidence is arrogance. No, it's not.
Mm,
Obviously, it portrays how you are. But if you can be confident, not be arrogant,
Hmm.
right? You walk into a room and like, yeah, man, I know I'm good. Like I'm handsome. Like I know
yeah.
E. When he put his lotion on, he got his cut.
Oh, for
You know
sure.
what I'm
You
saying?
know, hey,
So
I gotta
that's
walk with
stuff.
it. I come from the city, so I gotta walk with it.
Here we go.
Right. Just we're gonna
Straight
call
for
a
the
spade,
city, huh?
right?
All
Here we
right,
go
going for the
here.
city.
Gotta do it for the city every time.
That real now. That
Yeah.
real. What
Facts.
you got
Well,
for us next, Cam?
man, actually, I think we actually answered the second question as we all gave our own little spill into it. So we're good at this point. We can just jump into the final spade, um, which I'll take the honor of doing that today. And my final spade, I think it was perfectly. I think Mo, you literally led right into it. Um, I want to come from a place of saying vulnerability is a gate to breakthrough. Um, we tend to shy away from vulnerability. We tend to not want to do it, not want to, feel like we have to keep it enclosed because we don't want to feel weak, inferior, less than. People may judge us in that way. But no matter what culture gives you, no matter what, you think may be wrong with you, um, that vulnerability, even to Christ, that opening moment of you saying, "Hey, I'm messed up. I need help, God. Like, come to me where I am." That's being vulnerable. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable because that vulnerability is literally what's standing between you and that big breakthrough that you need in your life to figure out the answers that you may be missing, or the help that you may need, or the right people to be around you. Because again, I met E this year. I've known Mo for a very long time, but getting to be vulnerable and know you guys better, y'all give me vulnerability as I give y'all vulnerability. It shows me that, hey, we are actually a lot more alike than what we think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
so don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to open up. Find the right help. If you need help, again, God and therapy are literally some of the best things you can have. It's not just for the broken people either. Those people that are right. Sometimes you need therapy to stay right. So
Amen.
again, open up. That's what God's calling us to do. We have to one be out of our comfort zone, and that makes you get in a vulnerable position when you open up. Because again, like we said, everybody wants to be so comfortable and be in this safe place, but that's not where you're reaching people from. If we're not opening up to you guys, if we're not being real with y'all, and if we're giving y'all something fake, then y'all don't know that y'all can relate to anyone else. You may feel like you're the only person out there that's dealing with this stuff until you hear us from being vulnerable. And now, okay, there's three guys on this podcast that I know that are, that have been through some stuff or that are still dealing with things that I can, relate to. So open up, be vulnerable, and remember, find Christ in everything that you do. So, with that being said, that's it for this episode. Boy, it was a deep one.
We had tears.
Hey,
That's
Nah,
hey,
for
hey,
sure.
which is not a sign of weakness.
it's
It's
not.
anything that's healing. Towards
Sometimes
any man
crying
that's
out
listening
is
to
what
it.
you need. Crying out is what you need sometimes. But until next time, we'll catch y'all later. Well, that's the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you found anything relatable in today's episode, feel free to comment, leave a quick review, or tell us on our social media platforms, all of which will be in the description. Also, don't forget to follow and share this with others. It really helps get the message out there because we all need someone in our corner who can call a spade, right? Until next time, Spade family, stay rooted, stay honest, and keep following Jesus.